Yes. Speaking of politician, John Culberson. This is just Texas. Are we just doing all Texas guests today? Of course, from the great 7th Congressional District of Texas, longtime friend of the Laura Ingraham Show. He's going to give us an update on this border incursion going on in southwest Texas, the administration's refusal to really even stop this at this point, the use of McAllen military facilities to house these people, and what we're going to do about it. Congressman, great to talk to you. How are you?
It's good to be with you, Laura. And you can't have, I just say you can't have too many Texans on the show.
You know, I have to say, I agree with you, Congressman. It would be a good show if I just did Texas guests all day long, every day. But then the rest of the country would get mad at me because they already think.
We would straighten Washington out in about 24 hours.
Yeah. Well, I think what's, by the way, going on in Texas now with the wave after wave after wave of illegal immigrants crossing into the border is, number one, they're being told by someone, and
yes.
I'd like to know who, in Central America mostly, but also in Mexico, that if they get here, they'll be able to stay here, especially if they bring a child with them. So they're being told that, and then also they are being brought here and then housed in military facilities and then just flown to points like Phoenix and I guess some to San Diego and just released into the country, Congressman. What on earth is going on here?
It's absolutely maddening, infuriating. It's got the state of Texas just up in arms. We're all furious about it. The scale of the problem is actually much worse than you may even realize because first of all, it's not just children. A couple of weeks ago, about 150 people rushed the bridge at Laredo, adults. And we're going to see more of this. We're going to have 200 people, 300 people, 500 people, 1,000 people charging across the bridge, overwhelming the border security guards. It is an out-of-control situation that the Obama administration is creating deliberately and encouraging folks to come up and into the United States. The smugglers and those who want to get into the United States know immediately what to do because they have been encouraged by the Obama administration's refusal to prosecute anyone who comes across with a child, refusal to prosecute, frankly, just about anybody. And if that word spreads very quickly, Laura. So the reason you're seeing this is the smugglers understand that they're not going to face prosecution if they bring people across, especially children. So that's number one. So you have to first understand that this is intentional on the part of the Obama administration. That's why you're seeing this surge. And the children that are being, when they come into the United States, the smugglers also know that if you're not from Mexico, and that's the key to this, these kids are not from Mexico. Mexico will not take anyone who's not a Mexican back. If you're from Mexico and you're a child or an adult and you cross in the United States and you're caught, you will be put right back across the border immediately, and Mexico has to take them. These kids that are coming across now by the thousands are not from Mexico. The smugglers know exactly what they're doing because it's Obama policy, and they got the memo, so to speak, and it's going to get a lot worse. And it's absolutely out of control, and it's deliberate. You got a lawless president to the left of Bernie Sanders who has left the borders open, and it's a situation that it's absolutely infuriating. It's one of many, many lawless actions of this president.
Congressman, we hear almost nothing from GOP leadership on this. In fact, what we hear from GOP leadership, among them most prominent, I think, Eric Cantor, is that we need to do the DREAM Act. He agrees in principle with the Enlist Act, giving illegal immigrants a pathway through our military to citizenship, that we need a comprehensive immigration reform. So what they're hearing is not only Obama saying we're not going to deport you, but they're hearing Republicans dangling the amnesty reform in front of their noses. And I'd lay most of the blame on Obama, but I think if Republican leadership, not you, not people like Jeff Sessions, but Republican leadership had said, we will not do this. We will not do this immigration reform with a president who is so untrustworthy and has demonstrated that he won't enforce this border. If they had taken it off the table, these people wouldn't be rushing.
If the word will get out quickly, if the law is being enforced, the smugglers will not bring those people to the border and attempt to cross. I have been hammering our leadership and my colleagues from my perspective on behalf of my constituents, and my approach to this, Laura, is very simple. We need to begin by enforcing existing law, and you'll solve 90% of our problems. We got all the laws we need on the books. It's just simply a matter of willpower and enforcing the law, and it's what distinguishes us from the animal kingdom. The only thing that separates us is the law. And by the way, Laura, the first design on the first coin in the Republic of Mexico said liberty and law. Mm-hmm. There can be no liberty unless the law is enforced. So you start with that, and then number two, Laura, the secret to enforcing the law. I can't speak for the leadership or what other people are doing, but for myself, for John Culberson in Texas, my approach to this is very simple. We need to use the power of the purse to enforce the law. The administration, I'm on the Appropriations Committee, and I've quickly discovered that if you hold back money, you tell the agency you're only going to get 25% of your money to operate your headquarters, and you don't get the rest of it until you come back to me as the chairman of the subcommittee and prove to me that you're enforcing the law. You either enforce the law or you don't get paid. That works every time.
Well,
we need to use the power of the purse to enforce the law, and we'll shut this down and stop it quick.
Yeah, Congressman John Culberson from Texas, this is music to my ears. I have been waiting to hear a Republican discuss this in the terms that you're discussing it. You do have power in Congress. I mean, it's a deafening silence, though. Eric Cantor has said nothing about this. Eric Cantor has instead dangled the enlist principle out there for people to see. He instead has talked about how it's biblical to support the DREAM Act. Eric Cantor is part of this problem. John Boehner continues to entertain this ridiculous idea of immigration reform. So the Republican leadership has failed to educate the people and failed to truly oppose this. And I think that is a real problem. I know puts you in a tough position here, but look, the people are with you on this. You have to understand that they are with you.
Laura, it doesn't put me in a tough position. I'm speaking for myself. I can't speak for others, but I can speak for Texas.
What do you think about your leadership? But this is your leadership, John.
I hammer them constantly about it because we have to enforce the law. We're sworn on an oath to make sure that we're going to.
Why is Eric Cantor silent? Why will he refuse to comment on this?
I can't make him speak or tell him what to say, but I can tell you that myself, I share overwhelming majority of the Republicans in the House share my feelings on this. So we need to enforce the law. I'm working like a Trojan to get my colleagues to understand that you need to use the money. The power of the purse is the most powerful tool we've got to enforce the law. That's the one way to get the Obama administration to enforce the law and the Constitution, because you've got to understand, people need to know that this is deliberate, that Obama doesn't care. Eric Holder doesn't care about the law, the Constitution. Obama doesn't care about committee hearings or the Congress or the public or the voters or subpoenas or the publicity. He don't care about anything except the money, because it's always about the money, and we need to use the greatest tool that our shut it down.
Shut it down.
Shut it down. The founders gave us. Go ahead.
That's your check. No, but
I get fired up.
No, well, this is why we love you, because you actually don't just talk about the problem. This is how we can address the problem. And I have said this repeatedly as well. Siphon the money away from the beast that is the Washington bureaucracy. And I think one of the really important things that Republicans could do is to say, given what's happened in this Homeland Security Department, this thing is going to be broken up. We're going to return the immigration services to where it used to be. The Coast Guard can be part of the Department of Transportation like it used to be. Shut this whole Department of Homeland Security down. I think it'd be a huge plus for that.
I agree. I wish I had that vote back. I really regret voting for that. You're absolutely right. Split it up. Just enforce the law. And by the way, Laura, the federal government has no police powers. Those were reserved to the states in the 10th Amendment. Follow the law. The founders gave us all the tools we need: public safety, public health, public education, morality. Those were all left up to the states. Get the federal government out of it. Let Texans run Texas. By golly, they will not break the law in Texas. I guarantee that.
What do you think Dan Patrick will do when he becomes, which I believe he will, lieutenant governor? What do you think old Patrick's going to do? I mean, I think we should send the National Guard down there. Shut this border down. These people should not be able to cross into the Rio Grande Valley, and they should not be able to come across. Shut it down.
Well, you need It's just a matter of law enforcement, and Texans understand that, and Dan Patrick understands it. But it's also important to remember, Laura, that the largest inland port in the United States is in Laredo. But you've got to have law enforcement to have the ability for people to cross and goods to cross the border legally. Nothing else works unless the law is enforced. That's the starting point. So once the law is enforced, then people and goods can get across the border legally, safely, securely, and that's what we need, because that is essential for the prosperity of Texas and the nation. That's number one. And number two, you have to trust the good hearts and the good sense of individual law enforcement officers in the field.
No, well, they're being told to stand down. They're being told to stand down.
They're being told to stand down.
Congressman, we're out of time. Man, I want you to run for president. Jeez, you and Jeff Sessions on the same ticket together. I'll quit my job and start working for you.
You're awful kind. I love representing Texas. It doesn't get any better than